Hello, my name is Lysander, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to draw your cards intuitively. This is just going to be a few quick tips that I've learned from the person who taught me, and also from reading for about 7 years now. So, most commonly when I read cards, I will shuffle, and while you shuffle, you can either keep your mind blank, or you'll find that out if you are thinking of a question. And usually I will read the cards that flip out. Most of the time I've been doing readings, I read the cards that flip out without a spread, just kind of more conversationally. Definitely like have a conversation with your cards, either out loud or in your head, and they will talk back. So that is the way I've come to do it most of the time. And admittedly, it is a bit of the lazy way to not actually drawing cards at all. Just like that. But say you're just drawing cards freely. The way that I did it when I first started out, and sometimes if I want a really precise answer, you'll shuffle your cards while thinking of your subject, or if you're doing a general reading, keep an open mind. I find if I'm using a spread, I will think of the topic of inquiry and the spread, kind of telling the cards what I want, how I want them to communicate the information. And I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can see. After you shuffle them for a bit, you'll spread them out as best as you can. And you will run your hand over them like this. And what you're going to be waiting for is kind of like a sensation in your hand. It can be a few different things depending on you, and sometimes depending on the energy of the thing you're reading about. Most commonly, if you touch your hand very softly in the palm, that's sort of like ticklish feeling. The energy might feel like that. Most often I get them in the tips of my fingers or in the palm. So you can also get the sensation in different parts of your hand. And for those of you who practice palmistry, there is additional meaning to what part of the hand you feel the energy in, if you choose to get into that. So most often it'll be like that soft, ticklish feeling or heat, and occasionally like a pricking sensation. Sometimes the pricking sensation can be pretty painful if it's a very strong message you're getting through. My personal, when I'm drawing, my personal meanings, depending on what finger it is, most of the time, in general, I'll feel the sensation here or in my middle or pointer finger. But for me, if I draw cards from the pinky, to me, that says that the card I'm drawing is related to a personal weakness or vice of some sort, something that is causing trouble for yourself, or that is related to a personal shortcoming. The ring finger relates to relationships for me. The middle finger is the self, cards pertaining to oneself. This pertains to direction or the path we're headed in life at the moment. And the thumb relates to one's personal will and directives. However, I find cards drawn from here are just kind of general, so I don't usually note them I tend to note pinky cards the most as being different. So when I was first starting out, I would have to run my hands over quite a few times to get a sensation of anything. And you'll just want to think of your topic or question while you run them over. And when you feel something, just trust, pay attention and trust, and just draw the card that you sense. If the cards are kind of clustered together, like on top of each other, you can like spread them out or just intuitively trust which one. In the beginning, that can be a bit difficult, but for the most part, the only way to get really good at reading cards is to do it as much as you can. So practice makes perfect. So that is one way of drawing intuitively. Hello. So the next way, I never draw cards like just randomly. I just, shuffle and then just draw whatever's off the top without any sense into it. But that's just me. It doesn't feel like I'll get a good answer that way. This is the way I draw most often when I'm doing spreads, is I'll think of the person I'm reading for, the question or the spread itself. So that way I'm communicating to my cards that I want that, like 10 cards for the Celtic Cross spread. And each card represents a certain aspect of the information. So I'll shuffle and I will wait until I have an intuitive impression that the cards are done being shuffled, and then I can draw off the top, and the cards will be in the correct order for the reading. And I can just lay them out off the top into the spread. So it might be different for you, but the way that it feels to me intuitively is when the deck is done being shuffled and I can draw off the top, there'll be kind of this pulse through the cards, or this kind of, it's kind of like this harmonious energy, like the idea, the kind of like movement of it coming upward through the deck, like a beam of light. It's a little hard to describe, but I feel like a shift in the energy of the deck, and that's how I know that I've shuffled the correct cards into place and that they're on the top. Sometimes they're not on the top, and intuitively I might get the sense to cut and then draw off the top, or even draw from the bottom. And all of those kind of have like subtle intuitive meanings, such as if I'm drawing from the center, if I cut and then draw, the answers are in the center of the deck. So that information is more hidden for some reason. Or if it's off the bottom, then it's kind of information that's under the carpet, or likewise kind of obscured in some way, or it's more subconscious. So those are two ways. So there's shuffling and letting card spirit kind of flip cards out. There's laying the cards out and intuitively feeling out the ones you need to draw. And shuffling until the deck feels harmonious, and then laying out a spread. There's a few more things I could say about having them spread out and drawing. And that's typically you'll know that there are no more cards to draw when you've run your hands over it a few times and you don't get anything. For me personally, that's the most challenging way to draw, but that's because I don't do it that often. Back when I was doing it every day, it was really easy. So it's important to read as often as you can, and it will get easier. I'm just seeing if I forgot anything else. No, I think, at least I think that is it for today. So those are some ways that you can draw your cards intuitively for your readings. So I hope that helps you to pick the cards that deliver the right message for you. And I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching.